Hello, welcome to the Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Kate Harper from the 61st District in Montgomery County. Unlike Congress, the Pennsylvania General Assembly passes a balanced budget every year. When a spending plan is drafted, the legislature is tasked with balancing the needs of the Commonwealth with a fiscal responsibility owed to the taxpayers. This sluggish economy has made this a very difficult task, and this year is proving to be no different. But leading the way in the House is Representative Bill Adolph. He's the majority chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, and he's here with me today to discuss the current economic climate and some of the challenges facing us with the next budget in Harrisburg. Welcome to the program, Bill.
Nice to be here, Kate.
Well, I always start out by telling my audience a little bit about my guests. So I'm going to tell them that you're an accountant from Springfield, Delaware County, and I personally think that makes you a very good appropriations chair.
Well, thanks, Kate. I specialized for the last 30 years in Pennsylvania business taxes and individual taxes. So that side of the ledger I knew pretty well before I even got here. So, and I know how hard people work, and they like to keep some of that hard-earned money at home. So I think that's an advantage.
Right.
And being a small business person myself, trying to balance our own books has always been a pride of mine, something that we have to do as a small businessman. And when I arrived here in Harrisburg, that always wasn't the case. So I try to use some of my small business techniques in order to try to break things down to a more simpler set of facts.
I actually think that it's most often not the case because appropriations is an elected position. Very often we don't get somebody who's got, that kind of experience and that kind of, professional background.
Yeah, it's an important position. I am very honored to be the appropriations chair. It's a popularity contest sometimes, but I really believe that our caucus, for one, takes a look at qualifications and so forth, and I'm certainly honored to be the appropriations chair.
Well, I think you have picked a very difficult role, and I don't know that people understand how the economy affects the budget. So can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. When we finally took over the majority here, it's like climbing a mountain and you're a big skier, and all of a sudden you get to the top of the mountain and there's no snow left.
Right.
And when we took over, that's the way we felt. We were just getting through the effects of a 2008, 2009 recession. I mean, it was a national recession.
But it hit Pennsylvania pretty hard.
It hit Pennsylvania really hard. And during the previous administration, the feds passed the federal stimulus money. We received about $7 billion over a 2.5-year period. The previous administration obviously backfilled their spending plans with the federal stimulus money. Our revenues decreased during that period of time by about 11%.
Wow.
So when you add the decrease in the federal, in the state revenue of 11%, and then add to that the federal stimulus money, which represented about 12%, well, that's 23% of our revenue we actually lost, the following year when we were without federal stimulus money. So we really had a tough job, and we had to make really tough decisions. But the one thing that legislators like myself and you can't spend money that you don't have. And we really had to go through the budget line item by line item and try to get it to find out, what is necessary and what's not, and what was put on there for a certain reason, and is it still effective? Is that program still effective? So, we did that through the Appropriations Committee hearings and so forth, and I think we put together the best budget possible under a very trying circumstances, and we did that, Kate, all without raising taxes.
Well, and we've done it twice, and we're coming into another year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess our big taxes from a collections point of view would
Yes.
be income taxes, sales taxes, and business taxes.
Yeah, actually, state income tax and sales tax make up about 80% of our revenue.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
And then corporate net income tax and capital stock tax, and we've been decreasing the capital stock and franchise tax.
Because we're the only state that has that, or
Yeah,
one
it's
of the few.
it's kind of a backward tax. You actually tax the company's balance sheet rather than its earnings.
Right.
And we had some companies that owed some large capital stock taxes and actually lost money. So it was not really an attractive place to come to Pennsylvania as a result of those taxes. But we've been able to phase that out slowly but surely over the years, and it's only a fraction of what it used to be.
All right, now let's just stop for a second. Let's talk about sales and income. Why do those taxes go down in a recession? And I think we're still in it. Do you?
I know we're still in it.
Right.
I know we're still in it. Why does it go down? Well, let's start with the sales tax. When you have less money, you start eliminating items that are considered luxury items. And in Pennsylvania, we don't tax necessities.
So we're talking about kitchen table budgets.
That's right. Furniture, okay?
Right.
We're talking about automobiles, because clothing is exempted from sales tax.
Food.
Your weekly food at the supermarket. However, if we go out to dinner, out to lunch, you pay sales tax on it. So families cut their budget, and they say, okay, instead of going out once a week on a family dinner, we're going to cut it back to once a month.
Right.
Okay? So that's what happens. But also, what has affected our sales tax has been the purchasing and shopping on the internet.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm guilty of that.
Everybody is guilty of that. And but 28 states, it's a federal issue. We've had Amazon come on board, and they're now charging Pennsylvania residents sales tax. Obviously, we have on our PA 40 at the end of the year, Mr. and Mrs. John Smith, did you purchase anything out of state that you didn't pay any sales tax on? Or did you purchase anything on the internet that you didn't pay any sales tax on? But I don't know if that compliance is 100%.
Right. I don't think people are going to sit there and say, gosh, did I buy something?
Yeah, but they estimate, Kate, about $300 million loss a year.
From internet sales to companies that aren't collecting the Pennsylvania sales tax.
That's correct. Right. And then, you mentioned the state income tax. We have a flat tax.
Right.
We have a flat tax.
We're not like the federal government, once again, where you have the more you make, the more you pay.
That's correct.
You pay the same percent on the first dollar that's taxable. And by the way, the first dollar's not taxable.
That's right. We have exemptions. We have the special tax forgiveness programs for those that are less fortunate. But we don't tax pensions. We don't tax Social Security. We tax wages, bank interest, capital gains. Those.
Oh, there haven't been too much in the way of bank interest.
There's very little interest being earned.
Right.
Okay. The stock market has improved over the last couple of years, and we benefited from that as far as the state is concerned, because that's our source of revenue, is taxes and fees. There's nothing else going on up here where we can generate income. So we need people to get to work, okay? And we've been successful in trying to promote certain industries. And I guess we're about maybe up 100,000 new jobs, I guess. Some people will debate on whether they're all Pennsylvania residents or whatever, but they're still paying the Pennsylvania income tax, and that's a good thing.
So as we head into 2014, in a shaky economy, where revenues are flat or down and expenses actually go up. I mean, more people need unemployment. And last year, I know we borrowed, or the year before, borrowed $4 billion from the federal government that we had to pay back.
Yeah, during the recession, obviously, a lot of Pennsylvanians were laid off.
Right, so they needed more help.
And our unemployment fund, that combination mainly of the employers plus the employees, put into this unemployment fund. But during the recession, we actually had more benefits being paid out than what was coming in.
Right.
So under federal unemployment, which employers pay as well, you can now borrow from the federal government.
Which we did.
Which we did, and we were subject to interest on that, and we decided to take a bond out and lower the interest rate and settle our debt with the feds, which we were able to do. So not only have we balanced 3 budgets without raising taxes, we've also settled a gigantic debt with the federal government as far as unemployment. So, but we have an unbelievable, what they call cost of carry, cost of doing business. Just like a small businessman, just like a large corporation, expenses go up. Mandated expenses are going up. The one that comes to mind first is the pension.
Well, hold on that thought. I want to finish the revenue side before we get to the big expenditures,
all right.
okay?
All right. But
on the revenues, where are we on sales, income, and business taxes? Up, down?
Well, right now, our projections have been very good. The one thing about this administration and what we've been able to do in this House is we have been very good at projecting the revenue for the upcoming year.
Conservative on the revenues.
Well, we always are. We always are. And right now, we are ahead of projections. And hopefully that stays.
Right now, our viewers may or may not know that our fiscal year is actually July to July, so we're in the middle of it.
Yes, that's right. Matter of fact, we're going to be hearing from the administration regarding the mid-year budget.
And they're going to be, the governor will, the process is the governor introduces his budget in February.
That's correct.
And then your committee holds hearings on it.
3 weeks worth of hearings.
Every department comes in, every area is reviewed.
Yeah, that's correct.
And then sometime before June 30th, we have to have income and expenses balance and get it past both houses.
Yeah, you have to. First of all, you have to make sure that you are able to pay all your bills for the year, the current year, ending June 30th. Okay, we don't have any accounts receivables or anything of that nature. We pay all our bills. And then we have to project what the revenue and expenses are going to be the next year. So I think we're going to be in a good shape as far as June 30th, 2014 is concerned. The problem starts July 1st,
the
2015.
next morning.
That's correct.
All right. Well, let's then talk just a little bit about, we have the revenue side here. And let's talk a little bit about what are the big expenditures. If you were going to use a pie chart and whack up the budget, what are the big areas that we spend money on?
Okay. Well, there's 2. There's 2 that makes up 80% of our budget.
Okay.
Number 1 is education.
K through 12 mainly.
Mainly, but total budget, is 40% of our state budget.
Okay.
Okay. The other 40%, Department of Welfare. Okay. And Kate, I say that because it's a lot of health issues.
Well, it's programs that go through it. Well, the biggest driver there has got to be a Medicaid, senior citizens in nursing homes or something like that. Not welfare the way people think of welfare.
The fastest growing line item on the budget is Medicaid.
Okay.
And obviously, that's why we are in the process right now of trying to find a plan that's sustainable, so the folks that need it the most are able to continue.
All right. So we're going to take a little quick break now. We'll return in just a moment. My guest today is the Appropriations Chair, Bill Adolph, from Springfield, Delaware County. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Did you know that the chamber of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives contains a painting depicting the 24 hours of the day? Located in the center of the ceiling, the mural, titled The Hours, was created by artist Edwin Austin Abbey. This wonderful masterpiece charts the setting of the sun, moon, and the many stars that grace the heavens. 24 maidens, who each represent an hour of the day, begin each day in light and gladness and ends in solemn drapery carried on still shoulders. Now you know.
Did you know that Violet Oakley was the first female artist to receive a large commission for artwork done in a United States Capitol building? In 1902, Joseph Houston, designer and architect for the 3rd Harrisburg Capitol building, commissioned Violet Oakley to paint murals for the governor's reception room. He believed that Oakley's contribution would add interest to the building and act as an encouragement of women of the state. Prior to beginning her work for the Capitol, Oakley set out to England to conduct research for her murals. Upon return, she decided to center her artwork on William Penn and the founding of Pennsylvania. Oakley made sure that Penn's ideals of justice and peace could be seen throughout her work. In 1906, she completed 13 murals titled The Founding of the State of Liberty Spiritual and was placed in sequential order around the governor's reception room. These murals were some of the first to be installed in the Capitol. When Edwin Austin Abbey, another artist for the Capitol, died in 1911, Oakley was offered another opportunity to create murals for the unfinished Senate and Supreme Court chambers. Her work on the Senate murals, including International Understanding, was completed by 1919. Oakley then completed the Supreme Court murals, including the Divine Law, by 1927. Oakley is said to be the principal artist for the Capitol, with a total of 43 murals on display. She remains one of the greatest muralists in the United States. Now you know.
Welcome back. I'm State Representative Kate Harper. Today's topic is the state budget. My guest is Appropriations Chairman Bill Adolph. If you missed the beginning, we're talking about the fact that we're not like Congress. We have to balance our budget every year by June 30th. And the chairman has just said that the biggest parts of the budget, 40% is education, and 40% goes through the Department of Public Welfare.
That's correct.
But it's a lot of Medicaid spending and spending on programs for seniors,
care and so forth.
nursing homes,
Yes.
and things like that.
Yes.
Okay, so what are the special challenges for 2014?
We have about an increase in spending without increasing any of the, I would say, items that we decide on how much we're going to increase or decrease them.
Well, why are we increasing spending if we don't have the money?
They're mandated. They're mandated.
Okay.
Either long-term contracts or a federal judge has mandated it,
Okay.
or the federal government has mandated it.
So we don't have any choice about
have no
80% of our budget.
That's absolutely correct. All right.
Okay.
We have about 20% is where we can move around.
Well, let's talk about why is education so expensive and why is it, I mean, I know I voted for a budget that increased state spending on education. I keep hearing we cut education.
But,
What's that?
Kate, first of all, we have 500 school districts in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and they're all different. They're all different. We spent about $10 billion last year. It's an all-time high in state
dollars.
In state dollars, okay? In state tax dollars. The question comes up, where's the $10 billion going? What is it going for? Okay? Just like small businesses, just like big corporations, just like the state, okay? When you're involved in a service-driven business, and obviously education is a service-driven business.
Sure.
85% of every school district budget is based upon salary and benefits.
85%.
85%.
Wow.
Okay, other budget. Okay. When benefits go up, that's where the money is going.
Well, when you say benefits, though, you're also talking salaries, pensions, or even medical expense.
Medical.
Yeah, sure.
I would love to see the state, and I know there's been legislation introduced, and there's a group of folks that are really taking a look at it to see if we can develop some type of statewide medical benefit for all our school districts. I would imagine, and of course with Obamacare coming up, I'm not sure how that's going to work now, but it's something that we definitely have to look at. Because
I know our local governments in Montgomery County banded together and have their own liability, workers' comp, and health insurance, and it's really made it cheaper for them.
Yeah, to me that just makes sense, and that's something that you would think the Pennsylvania School Board Association would be working on,
Right.
because when you have to spend all that money, and then listen, health benefits are important and pension benefits are important, all right, but that's where the money's going, okay?
All right, let's
right
talk
into the
about
classroom.
pensions, because I think that is the elephant in the room.
Sure.
Why are pensions a hot topic in the legislature as we approach our 2014 budget.
Okay. There's no one simple answer there, Kate. But we talked about the recession. Let's talk about the stock market in 2008.
Yeah.
It collapsed, okay? Lost about 35% of their assets. And when you lose, the pensions did, okay? And everybody's IRA,
Everybody did. Everybody did.
TO
All my
plan,
constituents.
small business pensions, the simplified employee benefit plan, everybody's investments went down anywhere between 30 to 40%.
Sure.
That's huge. That's huge. I mean, that's the largest it's ever been, okay, without declaring bankruptcy. And it's been a very slow, the stimulus program helped, people paying off their debt has helped, but it's been very slow.
Well, whose pensions does the state budget have to worry about?
Two groups of people. Obviously, state employees.
Right.
And that's anywhere from state police to PennDOT workers to Department of Welfare workers,
Sure.
To college professors. Okay, everybody here employed in the Capitol, me and you. Okay.
We're actually a small percentage of that big group, though.
253 people out of thousands of people. I mean,
Right.
So, but we're all state employees.
And so as the employer, we have to worry about the pensions of the state employees.
No question about it. No question about it. We have 14 state system schools. We have four state-related universities. So all those folks are involved in this in the
pension.
In the pension.
Okay.
Number two, all public school employees. Okay?
Those 500 school districts, every single teacher.
Every single teacher, every single superintendent, every principal, every janitor, every maintenance man, electrician, whatever they're doing, bus drivers if they're full-time, okay, they have a public school pension. Okay. And the funny thing is, Kate, very few people know that we contribute to that. We contribute to the public school employees' pension as we do their Social Security. And
the state contributes to each school board's budget.
That's right.
For those things.
For one half of the Social Security.
Okay.
And one half of the pension. Okay. And there's a lot of legislation that has been passed over the last 30 years that didn't help the situation. Okay.
Right.
And sometimes you think you're passing good legislation, and if the economy stays the way it is, everything's rosy. But 2008 happened, okay? And that was the biggest fault. And a lot of times the state and the school districts throughout the last 15 years, okay, did not make the proper contribution into the pension. They relied on its earnings. During the 90s.
Right. Well, there were actuaries saying you don't have to make a contribution, employers, because, hey, it's going to make the money in the market.
Everybody was making 20, 25%.
Right. Well, it made it and then lost it.
And that's what happened.
So we have a big pension obligation.
We have an unfunded liability. And right now, we're making the proper contributions. We passed a bill in 2010, made a couple little reforms, okay? And but we re-amortized. And what happens under that plan, the rate of contribution by the state is increasing. The rate of contribution by the school districts are increasing. So we're getting a lot of pressure from our school boards that they're having a hard time balancing the budget, paying for necessary things that they feel is necessary because of the obligation they have to the pension system. Now, no one wants to do harm to anyone's pension.
Right. Well, in fact, we have to address this so that we can keep paying those pensions that have been earned and that people are counting on,
Kate,
and that are retired and counting on.
You pick up the Wall Street Journal, you hear about the city of Detroit, you hear about the state of Illinois. There's a problem. There's a problem, okay, out there. Private industry has addressed it, okay. I do believe that we're going to have to address it at one time as well. We're trying to keep our current retirees with their current budget, their current pension. There's very little that we can do to current employees because of a state constitutional effort.
Well, if you earned it, you get it. That's what Pennsylvania's always done.
Absolutely correct. All right. So most of this is going to be affecting new hirees.
Well, we have reduced benefits for new hirees.
Yes. Yeah. But so there's other things that can be done, okay, to try to reduce the collar or to reduce the contribution that we're putting into this pension.
The school boards.
We and the school boards.
Right.
So I know there's a group out there that's working with the school boards, working with ASME, working with the PSCA, working with the administration, trying to get some type of compromise, some type of bill together that we're going to be able to address this very, very serious problem.
Okay. Now, one of the things that you didn't mention when we were talking about the budget, and it's because it's got its own budget, is the motor vehicle fund or the transportation needs. And we, in the fall, passed a comprehensive transportation plan. But that gas tax money goes just to roads and bridges, right?
That's correct. It was first of all, congratulations, Kate. You did a marvelous job.
Worked hard on that.
Yeah.
And keeping SEPTA in the mix, which is important.
Yes, you did. Yeah, well, from the air, first of all, mass transits throughout the state, but we happen to live in an area where we're from the largest mass transit system.
Right.
And we rely on mass transit a lot to get back and forth to work and get back and forth to school and so forth.
But we need bridges too. I have several weight-restricted bridges in my district.
Yeah. And what has happened, Kate? What has happened over the years, and it's been 16 years since we did any type of transportation bill. Cars have become more efficient. Okay, and that's a great thing. But we are over 16 years. Because cars' efficiency, they're getting better.
You're not buying as much gas. You're not
better
paying as
miles
much gas
per gallon. We're not buying as much gas. Okay, and as a result, we get less taxes. We meaning the state legislature, some administration back in the day capped a wholesale tax. Okay, what we did here in this bill is we uncapped it over a 5-year period.
So people will gradually see the gas taxes, if they get passed through, go up, and they probably will.
I think this is I think this was crafted very well. The Governor's Transportation Commission, made up of a lot of transportation experts, thought we needed about $3.5 billion, and that was 3 years ago. We passed a bill that will spend $2.3 billion over a 5-year period, but we're going to have a revenue source for mass transit from then on. So
that's separate from the budget we've been talking about.
Completely separate. Has nothing to do with the general fund. It's something that, to me, infrastructure, public safety is something that state government has to get themselves involved in. And the previous administration tried to pass a transportation funding bill, but had problems with the federal government and tolling, remember, of I-80 and so forth.
I remember. I was here and on the transportation committee.
Oh, yeah.
But we got that done. And what we're going to be doing now as we go forward is hopefully crafting another balanced budget by June 30th for 2014.
And we will do that, Kate.
We will do that. We've been doing it. Thank you. That's all that time we have for today's program. I'm State Representative Kate Harper. My guest today was Bill Adolph, Appropriations Chair. Now, if you need assistance with any state government matter, please feel free to contact me at my local office. The address will be on your screen in just a moment. Thanks for watching. Join me again for Legislative Report.